Is there anything you'd like to say at all about wearing that LA Dodgers hat last week and getting in the hot
LA
water?
Dodgers Hatgate. Well, firstly, I would like to apologise to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes. But the other piece to this was, as you could probably relate, when you're missing a lot of hair on top and you're sitting under floodlights, you'll take any hat that's available. So, Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, I was Blue Jays throughout. Now that I've admitted that, it's going to be really hard for me to return back to Los Angeles. But no, I'm very sorry to the Canadian public. Devastated that the Blue Jays lost, but go Jays.
Lots of charm. Prince Harry wins over Toronto's century-old war heroes. What a breaking news moment that stirred hearts across Canada. The Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, once again showed the world the strength of his character, his compassion, and his timeless charm during his visit to Toronto, a city that has always held a special place in his heart. The visit became more than just an official engagement. It became a heartfelt reunion between a soldier prince and the veterans who understood his soul. As he stepped into the room, the air changed. The soft hum of conversation quieted. Cameras clicked in respectful rhythm. Standing before Toronto's century-old war heroes, Prince Harry carried himself not as a distant royal figure, but as a comrade among comrades, a man who understood the language of service, the discipline of duty, and the silent sacrifices that linger long after the battlefield falls quiet. Veteran Marshal, whose memories reach back through decades of Canadian service, looked up at Harry with a warmth reserved only for those who have truly walked the same path. "You served in the army. We appreciate that," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. Those few words carried the weight of countless shared experiences, the kind that bind soldiers across nations and generations. Harry didn't respond with grandeur or royal formality. He simply placed a hand on Marshall's shoulder and smiled, that gentle, genuine, unmistakably human smile that has come to define him. In that moment, no one saw a duke or a global celebrity. They saw a brother in arms. "He has lots of charm," another veteran, Reed, said afterward, her eyes still glowing. "It was fun to talk to him. I practically called him Harry." That single remark, casual, affectionate, and filled with sincerity, captured everything about the man who has spent his life bridging worlds. Prince Harry has that rare ability to make everyone around him feel seen, respected, and comfortable. Whether standing beside dignitaries or speaking with elderly veterans, he meets everyone on the same human level. It's the essence of why so many Canadians, and people around the world, continue to admire him deeply. A prince who understands service. Harry's visit wasn't just a gesture of royal courtesy. It was an extension of his lifelong dedication to those who have served. Having spent a decade in the British Army, including 2 tours in Afghanistan, Prince Harry knows the physical and emotional cost of service. He understands the loneliness that follows, the invisible scars, and the unspoken pride that never fades. To the veterans gathered in Toronto, he was one of them. They saw not a prince born into privilege, but a man who chose to serve, who flew helicopters in dangerous skies, who stood shoulder to shoulder with ordinary soldiers. His presence reminded them that true nobility comes not from a title, but from empathy, courage, and commitment. Every handshake, every shared laugh, every patient ear Harry offered during that afternoon told a story of gratitude. Veterans who had faced the brutalities of war decades ago felt a sense of validation. They weren't forgotten. They weren't relics of history. In Prince Harry, they found a listener who honoured their past with reverence and warmth. Toronto's emotional embrace Toronto has always embraced Prince Harry as one of its own. It was here, after all, that his relationship with Meghan Markle first became public, a city that symbolises new beginnings and bridges between cultures. On this day, Toronto once again opened its arms to the prince, who gave its veterans a reason to smile. For many of the elderly heroes, some nearing or surpassing the century mark, Harry's visit felt almost magical. "It was really special," one of them said. The simple phrase echoed through the hall like a hymn of gratitude. There was something healing in that encounter, something beyond ceremony. When Harry bent slightly to greet a frail veteran in a wheelchair, the crowd went silent. The prince spoke softly, leaning in to catch every word. Cameras captured the image, but what they couldn't capture was the unspoken respect that passed between them. Two soldiers bound by understanding, decades apart yet united by shared values. Harry's natural charm made the atmosphere light-hearted. He cracked jokes, listened intently, and made everyone feel at ease. Reporters noted that even the most stoic veterans chuckled when he teased one about his sharper memory than mine. And it wasn't a show, it wasn't performance. It was Prince Harry being himself, compassionate, humble, and present. The power of presence. Those close to the event later said that Harry's presence alone seemed to uplift the spirits in the room. "You could feel his energy," one organizer noted. "He wasn't just visiting, he was connecting. There was real warmth, real humanity. And that's the magic of Prince Harry. Wherever he goes, he carries authenticity. The veterans sensed it. The audience felt it. It's the same authenticity that inspired the Invictus Games, his global initiative celebrating wounded service men and women. One of the quilts gifted to Prince Harry during his Toronto visit bore the Invictus poem, a poignant symbol of resilience and strength, values Harry has lived and breathed since his military days. The quilt, handcrafted by Lisa Compton, a Canadian veteran and president of Quilts of Valor, was more than a gift. It was a heartfelt tribute, a salute from one veteran to another. The moment Harry received it, his eyes softened. He ran his hand across the fabric, tracing the words of the poem as if revisiting the journey that shaped his soul. For everyone watching, it was a reminder of how deeply he continues to care about the veteran community, not just in the UK, but across the world. Beyond borders, beyond titles. What makes Prince Harry's presence so powerful is that his empathy crosses borders. He doesn't represent a monarchy as much as he represents a movement of compassion, service, and humanity. In Toronto, that message resonated louder than ever. Veterans who had never met him before spoke of his warmth as though he were an old friend. "He's not like other royals," one said. "He listens. He doesn't just smile for the camera. He makes you feel like you matter." That statement perfectly captures what the world has come to love about Harry. He embodies a new kind of leadership, one that values sincerity over formality, purpose over protocol. He's a man who has seen pain, loss, and media persecution, yet continues to rise above it with grace and determination. His commitment to causes like mental health, veteran welfare, and humanitarian work shines brighter with each passing year. The soldier who became a symbol. Every generation has a royal who redefines what the crown means. For this era, it's Prince Harry. He is the soldier who became a global advocate, the prince who chose service over luxury, and the man who continues to inspire millions to live with empathy. When Toronto's veterans said he has lots of charm, they weren't referring to royal etiquette. They meant the real charm, the kind born of honesty, humility, and love. Harry's laughter filled the hall, his compassion filled hearts, and his humility filled headlines. For a brief moment, the world paused to celebrate a man who has given his heart to others, not for recognition, but because it's who he is. Legacy of connection. As the day drew to a close, Prince Harry shook the hands of every veteran in attendance. Some clasped his hand with tears in their eyes. Others saluted him softly. Each farewell carried a message. You are one of us. When he finally stepped outside, the autumn sun of Toronto cast a golden glow over him, as though the city itself was proud. Crowds gathered quietly, waving and cheering. A child in a small red poppy waved a handmade sign. "Thank you, Prince Harry." That sign said everything. Harry has spent years showing the world that compassion is strength, that vulnerability is courage, and that true honour lies in service. His visit to Toronto reaffirmed all of it, not through speeches, but through his presence, his words, and his heart. In every smile exchanged with those elderly veterans, in every gentle laugh and humble gesture, the Duke of Sussex proved once again that love and respect can heal generations. A visit to remember. The stories from that day will be told for years. For Canada's veterans, it was a memory engraved not just in photographs but in their spirits. For Toronto, it was a reminder that humanity still has heroes who live not for headlines, but for hope. And for Prince Harry, it was another chapter in his lifelong mission, to remind the world that kindness is the most powerful legacy of all. As the veterans said, it was really special. Yes, indeed, so was he.
And that wraps our daily diaries updates. Harry and Meghan, always keep the world talking. And if you enjoy this update, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and for more royalty served with honesty, just right here on Daily Diaries Friday. Till next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep shining. See you next time with more royal news and good vibe. Bye bye.